Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the DMP meeting for December the 8th. Hopefully, this will be the last one before the new committees are put in place, Warden, but you never know. So welcome to this particular meeting. Not a long meeting, hopefully, but nonetheless, I think a very important meeting to discuss some issues that are on the agenda. I believe roll call has been taken. Is that correct, Evelyn?
Yes, and we have quorum.
Thank you. Disclosure of pecuniary interest. Does any member wish to disclose any pecuniary interest on any of the matters before us today? Having seen no hands, I'll go to the no delegations. Then we'll go to development and property, the department report, which can be found on page 2. Over to you, Craig.
Thank you, Chair, and good morning, everyone. This is a strange December meeting, but we have a couple of items of business that we're pressing, and thank you for gathering today. Item number 1 is the Algonquin Trail Advisory Committee. We met yesterday as a committee and went through the details of a request from the Timberline Snowmobile Club and their mother company, I suppose, or mother corporation, Snow Country. There's a situation in Pembroke in Laurentian Valley that a trail that links the hotels in downtown Pembroke and Laurentian Valley with a CN line, which is number 120, trail number 120, that goes down basically in the Home Depot area and joins up with Pembroke Street east and west, and sleds would traverse the paved roadway to the Comfort Inn, the Clarion, and other hotels in the Laurentian Valley side. So if you know that area, you can kind of picture that. You come up over the hill and onto the roads. That trail has been closed by the landowner. It's a new landowner in that area, and I'm sure the warden is aware of that situation being in her municipality. So that landowner has decided not to renew the land agreement with the snowmobile clubs, and they've made a request to use the CP rail, the Algonquin Trail, from where the points intersect at the Pembroke MDF plant near Greenwood, and traverse the Algonquin Trail down to and around Rankin Street and into Greenside. Greenside is right near the Comfort Inn and the Finnegan's Restaurant, if you can picture that, near the McDonald's downtown Pembroke. That would allow snowmobiles who are traveling east and west to go downtown to their motel or hotel stay and or some restaurants in that area and patronize the businesses downtown. The committee yesterday decided that that was an acceptable use of the trail and has granted that to the Snowmobile Club, provided they follow the provisos of the lease, which ensure signage and brushing is completed to make the trail safe. And again, that they inform all their users that it is a zone that it has a speed limit attached to it, and that they respect the trail in that area. Of course, there was lots of discussion at the City of Pembroke meeting recently about use of the trail, but this goes slightly into the city boundaries, and Laurentian Valley is the majority of this trail, and Laurentian Valley has acknowledged that snowmobiles are allowed or to be allowed on the Algonquin Trail. That's the most of it. I think there is Evelyn did send around a report earlier today, a revised report with that map on there. I will ask either the chair of ATAC and or Jason Davis to fill in any blanks they may have missed, Chair. And perhaps we just deal with each item at each time, Chair. I will address item B. I slightly did this as well. There was, again, lots of conversation at a recent meeting of the City of Pembroke's Finance and Administration Committee, where the use of motorized, it was a motion put on the table to address using ATVs and snowmobiles on the Algonquin Trail through the City of Pembroke, was discussed. It was tabled to a vote. That vote was lost to allow it for this season, pending further investigation. But in that meeting, there was some information that wasn't necessarily correct. And the committee has asked that staff draft a report for the warden's signature to be sent to the city to clarify some of that misunderstanding. So again, Chair, that is item number 1. I think we should maybe stop there and have that discussion with that.
Sure. Thank you for that. Jason, did you want to add anything?
Thank you, Chair, and good morning, committee. Just a small addition. This is specifically, especially for item 1A, Again, this is specifically for snowmobile use only for at this time. So when the snowmobile season is finished, we'll be requesting that the snowmobile club put the barriers back in place until staff have time to review and improve the trail for other use of that section of the Algonquin Trail. So, but Craig, Mr. Kelly did highlight the big areas. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions coming from the members of committee? This is an information item coming forward. I see Peter Emon's hand coming up. Peter, go ahead.
Thank you. I want to make sure I fully understand this. A couple times during Mr. Kelly's presentation, he talked about allow. My impression is it's only this council and this corporation that can allow people to use the trail. I think we listen to the municipalities it passes through, and we've suggested to them that we would consider minimizing the use by certain user groups if they provide an alternative. But I don't think they have a special ability to dictate the usage of the trail. Am I correct in assuming that, or have I been wrong all this time?
No, if I can respond to that, and then I'll go back to Craig. But no, that is my understanding. This trail belongs to the three partners, Lanark County, ourselves, and Papineau Cameron. And we've always said this is a multi-purpose four-season trail to be used by everyone, and we have the right to utilize that trail and permit whatever on that trail through the management plan that we have. There seems to be some sort of idea that they control this. When I say the municipalities. We've always said that if there's a way that we can accommodate and work with the municipalities for whatever they want to bring forward, then we'll try and accommodate them. But to be perfectly sure and to make that perfectly understood, we still have the right to utilize that trail for the purpose of four seasons going through. One of the areas that we've had, and you're quite right, is that if you choose to not permit them to go through your municipality, then you have to supply an alternate route, and it's at your expense. That was the case with the CN bypassing up to this point in time, for example, Laurentian Valley. That was closed out. And so at this point in time, Laurentian Valley gave the green light, so to speak, and said we can't find an alternate route, so they will be on the Algonquin Trail. That's where it is with Laurentian Valley. Not so with the city of Pembroke. They have a position that they will determine what is going to be used on that trail, which is outside of the mandate, I believe, that was given to us as county councillors when we purchased that trail. Warden, I thought I saw your hand going up.
Yes, thank you very much, Chair. I was listening to Jason, and he was very clear that this is for snowmobiles, not for ATVs. My question is, though, once it's opened to Rankin Street or Greenside, will walkers or snowshoers be able to use the trail? Is the trail then technically open to the public?
I'll defer that to Craig or to Jason.
Thank you, Chair. So I was trying to make a clear point for the future ATV season, but you are correct, Warden, that once the trail is open for this winter season, there will be other uses on that trail, including snowshoeing, cross-country skiing, and things like that. So yes, but again, to reiterate what I mentioned before, for the upcoming ATV season, we still have a little bit of work to do before we open that up and have discussions with the city of Pembroke and Laurentian Valley. So again, you're correct.
So just supplementary. So we're very crystal clear here. The only motorized vehicle on that section of the trail will be snow machines, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes, through you, Chair. Yes, that is correct.
Excellent.
Okay. further on that particular situation. And if you're wondering why it stops there, that is primarily because the rest of the trail needs to have some upgrades, in particular to the culverts and the bridges, and to make it safe for the purpose of utilization. So they're still working on that, and that will be an ongoing initiative going forward. So at this point in time, that's where it will have to stop, primarily because it's not in a safe, I guess that's the term, a safe condition for a straight through situation. Craig?
Yeah, to be more clear, is actually, yeah, you're right. The safe condition of the bridges, because they need sides. Really, that's just to clarify. There's one or two bridges just need sides to keep up with their standards of the rest of the trail that we've created so far. Absolutely
Right.
correct. And just to further to Councillor Ema, he's absolutely correct. I misspoke in the words allow. You're correct, Chair. My words were mischosen or ill
No,
chosen.
it is confusing, that's for sure. But we're trying to work with all the municipalities to make it palatable, shall we say, for everyone who uses it. I see Brian, and I'll go back to Peter. Brian?
Thank you, Chair. Just a question. When the trail is open, I don't understand how you possibly would keep ATVs off of it in the winter. We said the only motorized would be snowmobiles, but I know our trails out here, there's probably as many ATVs on them in the winter as there is snowmobiles. So is that something you have to police, or I don't understand how you could possibly keep them off?
I can go ahead there.
Yeah, I would. We have a very good working relationship with the ATV club, and they certainly don't want to do anything to poison their position with the county of Renfrew. So I think it would be. I think we can certainly work with the ATV club to put in place a situation where at this time ATVs are not permitted on that particular stretch of the trail. You're always going to get those who are not part of that club, but they could have monitors out there and help and assist us, because as I said, they don't want to destroy that two-way situation that we've got going with them. They've been very, very cooperative with us as far as the trail is concerned, Brian, and I think we can continue to talk with them and ask for their assistance, as they have said. For example, with Dan Lynch and his situation down in Arnprior, they're quite prepared to send their people down there to assist with that hydro situation that you've got going down just off the trail. So I think it's possible that we can talk to them about that. But you're always going to get that rogue individual who's outside the ATV club and the organization.
Maybe the way I should have asked that question, is there really a reason to keep them off in the winter?
Craig?
So it's best addressed to say that snowmobile through your chair. It's best to say that the trail will become a prescribed trail from the snowmobile from OFSC, and as prescribed trails and as per our lease with the snowmobile, they are not allowed, legally not allowed to be on the trail. So we will be working with the SAVE team, snowmobile and ATV vehicle, alternate vehicle team, who will enforce this. Again, the chair makes a point, there will be the odd rogue user, but the snowmobile clubs, actually as trail wardens and otherwise, will monitor this as well. They don't have the right to charge, but they will work with the SAVE unit.
Okay, thank you.
That's what happens.
And at this point, I would suggest that we'll have signage up there to reflect the situation going forward for what, 6 months or something of that nature. Peter, and then Jeb.
Thank you, Chair, and through you to Mr. Kelly. It wasn't a matter of misspoke. I think our language has drifted the last little while when we talk about this, because we really wanted to enforce the idea that, that we're working with our local communities. But in this time of possibly competing YouTube broadcasts, I just wanted to make sure that we had a very clear message, and the message is the County of Renfrew owns the trail and determines who uses it through a series of partnerships and user groups. We will consult with the local communities and try and address their issues, but ultimately we make the decision about who uses it and how they use it. And I think, I just want to make sure we had that message clear.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Thank you. And that's what we've been doing, to be honest with you. Jeb, I think you had your hand up, Jeb. You're muted, Jeb. There you go.
Thank you very much. Although the Algonquin Trail comes up through Laurentian Hills, it's not open as yet. However, on the private side of things, there are agreements signed between the private landowners and the snowmobile associations. And in that, they are also providing the insurance to operate snowmobiles and their groomers and whatnot in those areas. And four-wheelers are not allowed on those trails during that time frame. As a matter of fact, some of our landowners have closed trails because four-wheelers were on them. So I just wanted to give you that portion of it from the private landowner side. And I'm sure some of that could be used with respect to the Algonquin Trail. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Jeb. Further on that first item? No? Okay, then we'll go to 1B. Jason or Craig?
Yeah, that was the 1B was, I did address both, Chair. That was the
Okay.
letter under the warden's signature as well.
Okay, fine. Did you want to elaborate a little bit on this, Warden, or do you want me to talk to it, or how do you want to do this?
Well, thank you, Chair. I think the report's fairly clear. And, Craig did discuss it earlier that during a finance administration meeting of the city of Pembroke, there was a vote taken to open the trail in Pembroke, and it was defeated 4-3, so that was unfortunate. But during that meeting, there was some misinformation. So I think it's just important that that we make sure that the information that the city councillors have, what they are basing their decisions on, is accurate information. So, between the staff and myself, I'll make sure that there's a very clear and concise letter to explain what we believe are perhaps errors of their knowledge, and go forward from there. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm sure when we see this letter, it will clearly articulate and lay out some of the misconceptions or lack of information or understanding of what we've done over the last 10 years with this particular trail, up to including consultation with the adjacent property owners along the trail, all the way from Mattawa right down to Smith Falls, including the county of Lanark and Papineau Cameron. We've done extensive consultation with that, put in place a management document that was done by a professional consultant whose specialty was in the trail environment, and I think it's a very, very clear document, and it gives great direction to the Algonquin Trail and to staff and the lower tier municipalities as well. So, okay, nothing further on that. That's an information item. There's nothing more on that that I see hands going up. So if that is the case, we'll go on to item number 2. Craig or Jason, or who's talking to this?
I'll talk to that, Chair. Thank you very much. Through you. So I'll start with the recommendations that the Development and Property Committee recommend that County Council direct staff to engage Strategy Corp on a continuation of their service delivery review contract to evaluate the services delivered by the Planning Division. The background on this, sir, and committee, is that through the SDR, the Service Delivery Review, there was comments about the Planning and Economic Development divisions within this department to look at ways of realigning them to better serve the local municipalities, to create a hub model, and just to analyze the services that are provided. The LEG consortium, the local efficiency group, made up of 7 municipalities, typically along the Highway 7 417 corridor, stretching from Marnprior up to Renfrew and Horton area, have discussed planning in that report that has now been distributed, and it makes a recommendation that a planning board be considered, and that the LEG municipalities strike off on their own to look at ways of developing a planning route that may better serve their communities. I'm truncating the whole report. Obviously, it's a lot more than that, but that was the majority of the comments that were sent to us through that report. We've also been dealing over the last month or so with the request at the last committee meeting from Whitewater Region, who are seeking delegated authority for their consents, basically allowing them their own destiny for providing severances in their municipalities and going forward in the future, which may or may not mesh with what other municipalities are doing across the county and not having that coordinated effort. So through the modernization program and the funding that the province has provided to us and has completed the service delivery review, there were funds available, still available in that fund. And it made a lot of sense, if you will, to engage Strategy Corp even further, to delve even deeper into the report and have a continuation on of what they've currently been doing. Since they've already started several interviews with the local municipalities, this would be a carry-on and can add to those interviews and the findings from that. So staff has attached as appendix their proposal and a number of key items on page 4 that we'd like addressed throughout that, including, again, the service levels, how we're dealing with our own capacity, succession planning, and others as we move through this. Of course, we've got people on both sides of the spectrum in that division, entering the workforce and looking at a long storied career. And we're looking at ways of managing that moving forward and how we deliver those services in the best fashion to the local municipality. So that is the recommendation put forward by staff. Mr. Cheeseman is on the Zoom today, as is Mr. Morrow, who both contributed to this report, and I leave them to add comment to this, Chair. However, I don't see Chair anymore on the Zoom call, which would make me point to the Vice Chair. Perhaps Mr. Hunt, as the Vice Chair, can carry on with this discussion until Mr. Sweet joins back. I think that's proper protocol at this point, Mr. Hunt.
Okay, thank you. So Charles, did you want to speak to this?
Thank you, Vice Chair. I really have nothing to add. I think it's self-explanatory and I fully endorse the proposal, and I think it's a timely thing to do at this point, given all the things that are happening, and give us some direction on where we want to go with the planning division. Thank you. Thank you, Vice Chair.
Thank you. I also support this endeavor. It's I think it falls in line with the request that I made at a previous property and development meeting, that we go out and survey the municipalities. So this certainly would get the job done. I got to say that I was a little disappointed that Strategy Corps didn't take this further in its initial document that it brought to us, but this will allow us to go into a more in-depth review and perhaps give an opportunity to modernize the department. So I fully support it. Is anyone okay? Mr. Morrow.
Chair, through you to committee, just with respect to your remark or point with respect to Strategy Corps not pursuing this. We did at the staff level pursue that question with Strategy Corps, and what we heard back from them was that in their interviews with the local mayors and the local CAOs, it was not raised as an issue. So you know, it was their decision based on that information not to pursue it. So again, I appreciate this opportunity to take a more in-depth look at it after that you had raised your initial concerns for it. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Anything further? Mr. Lynch, Councilor Lynch.
Thank you, Chair. I'm in support of. My only comment is the steering committee, the people that are going to be working with Strategy Corp, to ensure that we're not going to have a second meeting, that all the answers are in place this time around. Thank you.
Mr. Kelly.
Vice Chair, through you. So I think that's important, and I should have spelled out the timeline. So we are in a tight schedule. There is a finite date where the province has said all these modernization programs or service delivery reviews shall have a final report to them by March 1st. that is the final report. So we, again, we're hitting the ground running. They have completed a lot of interviews. They'd still like to go back and talk to staff and council members of all 17 municipalities, not just the leg group. So they, again, are in a tight schedule, not necessarily a short leash, but will hopefully be able to deliver something in draft format to us in February. I'm hoping to committee and to council by the end of February, allowing that to go to March 1st back to the province as a final report. So if that helps out, I see Mr. Morrow's hand up, Vice Chair. Thank you.
Mr. Morrow.
Thank you, Vice Chair, through you to committee. Craig, I'm wondering if it would be appropriate if this committee directed the warden, the chair of development and property, and the vice chair to be part of the conversations with Strategy Corp right from the get-go. And then that way there is the interaction with our elected officials. I don't disagree with Mr. Kelly's comments. We are on a very tight timeline. This will move very quickly, I believe, and there will be fewer meetings with Strategy Corp. But I do think that there is some strong arguments for having the chair of DNP, the warden, and the vice chair as part of the conversation. And I will leave it at that, Vice Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Further to that, one of my challenges is going to be in the month of February. I will be out of Ontario, and with our bylaws today, I don't believe that I can participate, and I find that concerning because I certainly would like to participate in this, but I can do whatever I can in January, and if we stick with the procedures that are in place today, I would not be able to participate in February. So I don't know if you want to put a replacement for me.
If I may, Chair, can I?
Yeah, I finally got back. I'm sorry, folks. Something happened with my system, and I've been out since. I didn't hear what Craig said or anybody said in the last 5 minutes, so I'm just coming in here sort of blind. Go ahead, though.
Thank you, Chair. I just would like to confirm that our procedural bylaw does indicate that should you be on county business, I believe you are permitted to be out of the province. So I believe you would be permitted to participate. It's just when you're not on county business, I believe is the way that piece of the procedural bylaw works. So can I confirm that, sir, and get back to you?
Thank you.
Okay. So I'm sorry, I apologize. I haven't been with you in the last 5 minutes, so I don't know what has transpired with that. But I see the warden's hand going up. So Warden, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Nice to see you back. But your vice chair did an excellent job, so we just kept on going.
There you go.
I think we're very fortunate. We are in a tight timeline here, but we're fortunate that the province did extend the deadline to March 1st as well. You know, Strategy Corps is not coming in blind. They've spent a lot of time with us already. So I'm really looking forward to this. And I think that to Councillor Lynch's comment, I think the message was very clear last time around when we got a partial report that we really needed something more fulsome to discuss as a county council. So I'm sure that going forward, what we do receive will be with a great deal of detail as well.
Thank you, Warden. Craig.
So just to clarify then for you, Chair, perhaps, is that the recommendation should be amended to add a secondary, and that the warden, chair, and vice chair are part of the steering committee. Is that what I'm hearing as an amendment to that recommendation? Okay, fair enough. We don't have a motion, a mover of that motion yet, so that's.
So just add to that as a friendly sort of addition to that. Is that the process at this point in time? There's no motion in place. Is that correct?
There's not a motion in place at this
So
point.
we can extend that by adding the warden, the chair, and vice chair to this this motion. Is that correct?
Yeah, Chair, if I may, can the information that will come to County Council indicate that committee directed that the warden, chair, and vice chair be directed to participate in the process?
And that's part of the now recommendation. Is that as I understand it? Somebody, Paul, Craig?
Ms. Morrow, did you want that as part of the recommendation or just as direction after the recommendation?
I think it can go either way, Chair, and that's the purview of the committee to make that decision.
So what's your poison here? I think it would make more sense to be part of
Yes.
the resolution, to be honest with you.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fair. We can make that change.
Okay, are we in agreement with that? Yes, okay. Is there no further discussion on this, or, and if there's not, then, and you're comfortable with that recommendation with the addition of the warden chair and vice chair, I need a motion to move it forward. So I see Dan Lynch and Brian. Okay, let's go. Any further discussion on this? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Opposed, if any, it's carried. Thank you. Where are we with the agenda? Is that it for the agenda? New business. Any new business, folks?
Chair, if I may.
Okay,
Rose just provided me with the necessary clarification. The procedural bylaw indicates that any councillor participating electronically must be located within the province of Ontario unless an elected official is on municipal business. So this would work, Vice Chair Hunt.
there you go. Okay, fair enough. Thank you. New business. Any member got any new business? Nothing for closed, or is there?
There is not, sir.
Nothing. For
We need to have the report as a whole moved in second, please.
Yes, understood. Okay, somebody move to accept the report. Warden and Peter, all in favor? It's carried. Okay. So the day of the next meeting will be at the call of the chair, or when these hopefully meetings before the inaugural will not take place. But I'll leave that in the hands of the warden. With that, I need a motion to adjourn. Brian, seconded by John. All in favor? We're out of here. Thank you very much. Sorry about the delay and the what do you call it?